Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is love and loss and how the two are often inextricably linked. And we're going to talk about ways that we might find to disentangle them so that we can allow ourselves to open our hearts more fully. But before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale any negativity, stress, tension, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, all your molecules, all your electrons, lighting you up from the inside out. And as you exhale any remaining stress, tension, negativity, fatigue. And now let's just gently press our palms together and very, very softly rub your fingers against your palms and feel the deliciousness of that sensation and the tickling and the tingling, and allow that to bring you present to your body right here, right now. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. So love and loss. The reason for this topic this morning is that I did a new meditation from Joe Dispenza. It was called Go Love 20. Go Love 21. And it was, I guess it was his response to the epidemic. You can find it on YouTube. Anyway, I was doing this meditation and it was about feeling love. Good morning, Rosalind. Welcome. We're talking today about love and loss and how the two seem to be intertwined inextricably. You know, like that it's a very murky experience in some ways. You know, we have moments of being able to experience being fully in our heart, in love, and experiencing that expansiveness of love. And then there are other times when we think of loved ones, it's tinged or deeply colored by pain and sorrow and grief and loss and regret and all kinds of other crazy emotions that come in to mitigate the expansiveness of love. And so I was doing this meditation, and there was an instruction in the meditation to think of someone you love. And you know, it's funny because when I was a kid, my parents had told me the story. We went to Crystal Cave, and apparently I was terrified, and I called out to all my animal friends, just naming all of them and calling out to them for help. And it was so, you know, throughout my life, the closest people in my life have been the four-legged ones and the feathered ones, and you know, the other than human ones. And it was really interesting in this meditation to see that yes, there are humans that I love and adore in this life, and the people that came to mind were my critter friends. And what came with that was deep sorrow as well as the love, you know, for beloved pets that have opened my heart so fully and who have kept a place there even after their passing. And of course, we have living ones too. Miss Maggie. Good morning, Alexandra. Thank you. Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. It's wonderful to have you here with us. So we're talking about love and loss, and what I noticed is, my pet people are the ones that have really blown my heart wide open. And there's, in memory of them, I was noticing that there was that love and sadness, love and grief, love and loss were tied together in a way that it felt inseparable. And so that's what I'm working on now, is finding ways or looking for ways to be able to be present to the love without the loss. And I find that it's possible, that I find it possible to be in the presence of love when it's not specific, when it's not specific to another being. And that love can be unadulterated, that it's purely the experience of that open-heartedness and that expansive, blissful feeling. Good morning, Bernadette. Welcome. We're talking about love and loss, and how we often, when we're feeling love, there's a grief and loss and sadness that's associated with it so often. And the more we love, the more our hearts get broken open, the bigger the experience of loss can be. And so I found it interesting that despite the fact that there are people that I love in my life, that my animal people are the ones that showed up in this meditation, and that I felt this deep, and even this moment, I'm feeling the constriction, the twisting in my throat that is part of that I associate with that grief and that gripping sadness that just that is heartbreaking. Like the more the heart opens, the more vulnerable it is, right? And so this idea of unpairing love and loss, if there's a way to do that, I think what happens for so many of us in life is that we love, and we love deeply, and our heart gets broken, and then we close ourselves off to that opportunity and possibility again, because the wound was just so deep and profound. And I'm sure we all know the saying, it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. And yet, many of us love and lose or experience loss and never revisit that vulnerability again. Or we do, but we don't open our hearts fully because of the fear of the pain. And it's interesting to me because my dad's was a veterinarian, and so my life, I've been blessed for my life to be filled with animals, and they have been my best friends through life. And I think it's with animals that I have seen myself be able to open my heart again and again, despite the agony of the loss. And I'm wondering what the experience is for you. I know that when we lose loved ones, we have the option to experience the grief and the loss or to go numb. And I know that the temptation is to go numb, right? And we talk about moving through emotions, and part of the grieving process is allowing that emotion, that experience to process through, to be present to it, and to allow it to transform and transmute. That's what we've been talking about already this week. Bernadette says, it's been 5 years today, actually. Wow, how timely, right, Bernadette? Maybe I was picking up on this topic for you. So it's been 5 years today, actually, when I lost my best friend. Some days it seems like today, and other days it's gratefulness of what our friendship meant. Yeah. So it's a very, very tender topic, right? Because if we've lived, we've experienced some form of love and most likely some form of loss. And those losses, I think when those losses occur, we have the opportunity to allow it to create a richness and to deepen our experience in life and to deepen our capacity to love. We do have that opportunity. And so often I think what happens is that we use that as an opportunity to close ourselves off, to defend and protect ourselves from the potential pain of that loss that may, in certain circumstances, may be inevitable. So I wonder, beyond allowing ourselves to feel the feelings when they're there, what else is a way that you have found to move through the grief and the loss? And I think that when we lose someone that we love dearly, it is a death of ourselves, a portion of ourselves as well. It was interesting today. Maggie has been with me since January, except for a brief hiatus where she ran away. She flew away for several days, and I was deeply grief-stricken that she left, and or that she was gone. I don't know if those are exactly the same things, but anyway, I recognized that I have started to know myself as partner to her, among other things. Like I have a cat who I love with all my heart, who's been with me 16 years. Is that true? Maybe, no, not maybe 15 years. And she is very much a part of my life and a part of who I know myself to be. I know myself in relation to her. That's one of the ways that we see ourselves in the world, is in relation to other humans, other creatures, our locations. We see ourselves in relation to our jobs and, et cetera, et cetera. But when there is a big transformation, whether it's the loss of a loved one or even a change, where we lose a job, or we move from one place to another, there are portions of our identity that are connected to those experiences. And so when there is a death, when there is or an ending, when there is a loss, then it forces us to redefine ourselves in some way, shape, or form. And I was hoping to speak today about finding a way to disentangle the loss or the fear of loss from our capability and our willingness to love. Because when we become so loss averse that we avoid love, we're so deeply limiting our lives and the richness that is available to us in our lives. So Bernadette says, it's a loss of physically not being able to talk or hug or converse with her that I miss most. Our friendship came with being fully ourselves with each other. Bernadette, I'm so grateful that you had the opportunity to have such a rich and deep, profound friendship. And I'm so sorry for your loss. And I know what it is to have loss, to lose that level of intimacy with another being, to not have it available in a physical expression. And I'm wondering what you do to be able to presence yourself purely to the love, because it's almost like these parts, the love and the loss, become merged in our memory of someone. And I do believe, I know that there's healing where we are able to then speak of our loved one without, good morning, Lisa. So good to have you here with us. We're talking today about love and loss and how we might be able to disentangle them from one another so that we can courageously love again. And I realized that it is an act of courage, really, to love, because there's a level of vulnerability and openness to wounding that we expose ourselves to in loving, right? That we're allowing a deep connection. And this is another good question is to look at maybe the distinction between attachment and connection. And I'm wondering if the loss is a result of attachment. So Lisa says, to love is easier than to trust. That's loaded. That's a really loaded statement, Lisa. Big time. So I think that when we love, we are trusting in a certain respect. We are allowing ourselves to open our hearts. And I think that you make a very good point that love and trust are not one and the same by any means. That I can love someone without trusting them. And I guess the question that always arises for me when speaking about issues of trust is, trust someone to what? To be what? Or to do what? Because trust is sort of a projected expectation, like you're trusting someone to behave in a certain way or to not do certain things or to to be a certain way. That is what trust is. There is a judgment associated with it, like, or not, maybe not even a judgment, but an expectation. And it's often an invisible expectation when we talk about trusting someone else. I think we can trust people to be who they are, whatever that means. And I think that in itself is a loaded conversation. So Bernadette says, it makes me look at the value of friendships as they are, not all the same. Oh, it makes me look at the value of friendships as they are not all the same, but all friendships bring something to our lives that can be beautiful. 100%, Bernadette. And in fact, we can even look at our any relationships, even those relationships that are fraught and challenged emotionally and spiritually. Even those relationships bring something to our lives that can be beautiful and that can be life affirming. So Alexandra says, losing a pet companion was excruciating. I totally can relate. And I was in denial and thought not having another pet means I won't experience it again. But I got other pets who went on to teach me, as I began connecting to them, that they are here to teach me and help me evolve. They have taught me that it's not just about them, my pets, but to see all other creatures through the eyes of love. So yes, their loss broke open my heart and made room for all animals. Alexandra, thank you for that. That was really, truly beautiful and so powerful. And I think because pets are so non-judgmental, we have a capacity to love them more fully and unabashedly, unapologetically. We can just love them with all our heart and soul. And I relate to it being excruciating to experience that kind of loss. And yet I've done it over and over. And I think that in so many ways, our animal friends do teach us how to love. So Elaine, welcome, welcome. So good to have you here. We're talking about love and loss and trying to find ways to disentangle the two so that we can expand our hearts even more fully. Lisa says, for me, I think it's about abandonment. If I love, will they leave? And I mean leaving physically and mentally. So this is what I'm talking about, is the fear of loss, so that we're before we even get connected, we're anticipating that loss. And so are we allowing ourselves to truly love? There's a gift in loving, and that's where the question of attachment versus connection comes in. It's like we become attached, and typically we become attached, and that when that attachment is broken, it's just completely heartbreaking. Literally, like I have been in times in my life through a loss, whether human or animal, where I just felt like my heart was just broken, deeply, just cleaved in two, and just broken. So Jenny, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here with us. Oh my gosh, Jenny. Jenny says, my daughter is 24. She lost her 6-month-old. She had other boys, 6 and 4. It's been 10 months since I've seen them. She decided she didn't want a relationship with me after ignoring me for 6 months. And I have no idea what I did or didn't do. I've been devastated I've been devastated Still Christmas, she used me. Friends from the past betrayed me, taking crap and twisting the past. I'm broken and lost. And Jenny, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your daughter's loss and the feelings of betrayal and brokenness. I can so relate to that experience of feeling broken. There was a very long period of my life where I truly felt broken. And what I can tell you is that it is possible to recover from that deep and profound, devastating loss, even though it's unimaginable that you might be able to come back from it. And part of it is, as far as your daughter, I don't know what the circumstances are, but she's got to be so broken herself and so devastated that perhaps you can allow her some space with that. I'm skipping past some comments here, and Jenny, I'm seeing you say I'm going insane. So I'm wondering if you can find help. I'm hoping you can find help, because this is not something to go through alone. It's something to be able to find someone who can offer support, who can offer guidance, who can offer strength, and be there for you as an anchor in this time of feeling so lost and I feel your pain, and I'm so sorry you're experiencing what you are. And if you can get through it, you will be stronger for it. And that's a certainty. Bernadette says, I think for most of us, it's a matter of being vulnerable, and that can be hurtful at times. My experience of being vulnerable means I am open in my heart. I see them from a different light. And that's true. That's where we find a place of forgiveness, is when we allow ourselves to be in another person's shoes. Jenny says, that's how my heart feels. And I'm imagining that it's just cleaved in two and broken open. And I know the despair of that. And I can tell you that it is possible to be coming back from that. Bernadette says, replying to Jenny, my condolences for your loss. And Alexandra is sending hugs to you, Jenny. And so Jenny says this is since Christmas that this has been going on. And I'm sure it can be crazy making. And what you get to do is to take care of yourself. When people experience loss, they do many things to preserve their well-being that can be injurious to other people. And she's probably going through such a hard time that she can't even think beyond herself. Elaine says, loss is a beautiful experience to remember that love is who we are, a state of being, and can never be given or taken, as love moves in and through all forms. So if we're able to remove ourselves from the attachment for a moment, then perhaps we have the ability to connect more deeply to the love that we are. And Jenny, I hear you saying you're alone, and I see your tears. And Jenny says, I beat leukemia 2 times. This is far worse. I understand that. And a big part of what makes it so devastating, no doubt, is the stories that we tell ourselves, so when we're rejected or exiled by someone we love, we make a narrative to be able to understand things. And that narrative may be life affirming, but oftentimes it isn't. Oftentimes it's the opposite. And the things we tell ourselves, and even about how much we need this other person, or I can't even imagine, Jenny. But what I really, really suggest to you is to find somebody that can counsel you and be there. You might even go to a grief group. There may be some kind of grief group that you can find to offer you support. And Elaine says, replying to Jenny, through these experiences, you are truly loved and never alone, even though it may feel like it. That's my addition, Jenny. You may feel like you are completely alone, but there is a place that you can connect to love. And so Elaine is saying, you are never alone, and always love is with you. Through this experience, find comfort, you knowing you are embraced by grace, beautiful one. And so I know in these times of loss and isolation and aloneness, that it can feel like you are entirely alone in the world. And that's not the truth of it, Jenny. But unfortunately, these very, very, very dark passages are passages we transit alone. And that said, the deep darkness we go through alone, but that doesn't mean that we can't find someone to hold our hand, to be a North Star, to be a solid place for us to put our feet, even as we move through this very dark transformation. To get beyond it, we need to go through it. And it's very, very valuable to find a professional who can help you to navigate that was very troubled and deep and dark waters. So I hope for you that you will find that support. And for all of us, we have this tendency to entangle love and loss, and the loss makes it difficult for us to presence ourselves to the expansiveness of love. And there is a way to reconnect to that love, and that in itself is healing. And it doesn't need to be directed at anyone or anything. We can be present in nature and the magnificence of it, and allow ourselves to breathe it in and breathe it out in such a way that it can fill our hearts. And that presence, that connection, is also a form of love that may be untainted with the loss. And by allowing ourselves the experience of that loss without resisting the emotion of it. So, Jenny, what I know is that in your grief, it's not persistent every minute of every day. It can't be, because we are fluid beings and we are experiencing transformation and shifts all the time. So by allowing the experience of the emotion, to feel it in our bodies when we feel it, to pinpoint where it is, to allow ourselves to experience the emotion without the story, without the narrative, without the judgment, to experience it. When we allow ourselves to be present to it, it moves. And there will be moments that you have relief. And as you allow yourself to experience the emotion, it will move and change. You will have relief. You will experience the emotion. It will move and change. You'll have relief. And what happens is that all of that energy does eventually process through in a process of healing. And it's not an easy road. It takes courage and it takes persistence. But you will be richer for it, and you will be more whole as you allow yourself to move through it. Elaine says, there are times we must travel alone to guide us back to the one source within. You have everything in you to walk this path, even when it looks like you don't. There's a strength that you will remember you have, beloved. Yes, thank you for that, Elaine. And there is a remarkable strength that we have that's beyond what we're even aware of. And Lisa, I'm sorry, I skipped your comment here, replying to Jenny. Give your daughter time to heal. Give her time. Pray for her and be supportive of at every given chance. Loss changes us in ways we'd never imagine. I can tell you, you can't push that. You can't push. That will make it worse. Just let her know you'll always be there when she's ready. And I'm sure, Jenny, that that's a stretch because you feel so wounded and broken right now. But that expansion of yourself will support you in your healing as well. And to realize that how she's being is not about you. It really isn't about you. She's probably doing everything she knows how to do just to survive and put one foot in front of the other, as are you. And Bernadette says, I think the hardest part of loss is we all deal with it differently. And unless we look at the situation from the other person's perspective, even if different, allows us to heal and still support and love each other. So trying on recognizing another person's agony, she's probably just crazed and also feeling quite broken and devastated. And I know it's a lot to ask of you to have the compassion for her when you're feeling such pain, but that might be a path to your healing. And Elaine says some deep experiences are beyond words, love. It's true. It's true. And Lisa says we're only as happy as our saddest child. And I'm thinking you mean our inner child. Hold on. Oh, you mean real child? Hold on, she'll come around. And it may take time, Jenny. It may take time. But the thing that you get to do is heal you so that you can then be there when she's ready. And I'm sure that you feel deeply wounded by her as well. So it may be a challenge to find compassion and forgiveness for her. But recognize that as devastated as you are, she's most likely equally devastated. So very intense topic, folks. I'm so grateful to you for your vulnerability, for your candor, for your willingness to share and to show up and to face the hard questions, to look at the hard and challenging events and situations of our lives together. It's really, really powerful. And I honor you and I'm grateful to you. And I recognize your courage and your love and your compassion. And I'm going to call it a morning. So I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. And if you're new here, this is Maggie. And we go live each weekday morning here on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page. please check out the other awesome programming in the awesome community with Enlightened World Network on the Facebook page, also the Facebook page for Enlightened World Living, and EWN One with the Earth. And with that, be gentle with you, and let's find our way to experiencing the expansiveness that we all have available to us through love.